The NBA offseason never sleeps. Just when fans think the dust has settled, new trade rumors start to heat up. And this year, the league might be on the verge of witnessing some truly shocking moves. While the major deals of the early offseason have already turned heads, there are still a few blockbuster trades lurking just beneath the surface, moves that could completely reshape the balance of power in both conferences. In this episode of Top 3 Corner, we're diving into the 3 biggest trade shocks that could still happen this season. From former MVPs to rising stars and teams reloading for title runs, these potential trades aren't just speculation. They're being discussed, whispered about behind closed doors, and could come to life at any moment. So buckle up, because we're counting down the top 3 trades that would shake the entire NBA if they happen. Let's jump in. Number 3, Paul George to the Utah Jazz. At number 3, we have a move that sounds insane on paper, but actually makes more sense the deeper you look into it. Paul George to the Utah Jazz. Yes, the same Paul George who's been an all-star, Olympic gold medalist, and centerpiece of multiple contending teams. After a stint with the Clippers that never quite lived up to its championship expectations, and a recent shift to the Philadelphia 76 ERs that seems uncertain due to injury concerns and cap constraints, George's future is once again in question. While he's still a highly productive two-way forward, teams are growing cautious about committing massive money to aging stars with injury history. That's where the Utah Jazz enter the picture. A team in full rebuild mode just a year ago, the Jazz are now rumored to be seeking a quick leap back into competitiveness. With a collection of young talent, tradable contracts, and draft picks to spare, Utah is one of the few teams that can absorb George's salary and still remain flexible. Bringing in George would give them an elite veteran presence to anchor their young core, especially with players like Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, and Keyonte George developing rapidly. The Jazz see this as a shortcut. Skip years of mediocrity and enter the playoff picture immediately. For Philadelphia, it's a strategic reset. Rather than gambling on George's health and age, they could flip him for draft capital or younger pieces, opening up space to build around Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. A trade centered around George for a pick swap and a developing prospect could satisfy both teams. While this isn't the kind of blockbuster trade that involves multiple all-stars or franchise players, it's the type of quiet shocker that makes you check your phone twice when the notification drops. Utah going all in? That alone is shocking. And Paul George, out of nowhere, playing for the Jazz? That's why it lands at number 3. Number 2. Milwaukee Bucks acquire Kristaps Porzingis and Lonzo Ball in a 3-team blockbuster. Moving on to number 2. Re-looking at a multi-team blockbuster that could revive a franchise's championship hopes while giving 2 other teams a fresh start. Picture this. The Milwaukee Bucks, desperate to reload after another early playoff exit, pull off a 3-team deal that lands them Kristaps Porzingis and Lonzo Ball. It sounds like something from NBA 2K, but according to league insiders, this is one of the more legitimate proposals still in play. Let's break it down. The Bucks are in win-now mode. Giannis Antetokounmpo is in his prime, but the pairing with Damian Lillard didn't work out the way they had hoped, partly because of health issues, partly because of defensive liabilities. With Lillard aging and the bench lacking depth, Milwaukee knows they need a major shakeup. That's where Porzingis comes in. When healthy, he's one of the most unique bigs in the league. A 7'3" sniper who can protect the rim and stretch the floor. Pairing him with Giannis would give Milwaukee a dangerous high-low combo, opening the paint and providing much-needed spacing. Now throw Lonzo Ball into the mix. Although he's been sidelined with injury for a long stretch, Ball's upside remains tantalizing. A defensive-minded playmaker who can facilitate without dominating the ball, he's the kind of glue guy the Bucks sorely lack in their backcourt. The addition of both Porzingis and Ball would completely redefine Milwaukee's rotation, adding size, intelligence, and versatility. In this deal, the Chicago Bulls and Boston Celtics get involved to balance salaries and assets. Boston could offload Porzingis' contract for picks or a younger wing, while Chicago finally moves on from Ball and opens space for a true rebuild. The Bucks give up some draft capital and possibly a role player like Bobby Portis, but the return is worth it. The shock factor here is massive, not just because of the names involved, but because of the implications. A healthy Porzingis alongside Giannis? That's a frontcourt no one wants to see in the playoffs. This move would rattle the Eastern Conference and elevate the Bucks back to serious contender status. It's bold, it's risky, but if it happens, it'll break the internet. That's why it earns the number 2 spot. Number 1, Kevin Durant to a new super team, and here we are. Number 1, the most shocking, league-altering trade that could still go down. Kevin Durant leaving Phoenix and joining a brand new super team. This one has all the ingredients of an NBA earthquake. We're talking about one of the greatest scorers of all time still producing elite numbers, deciding that it's time for yet another chapter in his legendary career. After a frustrating stint with the Suns that fell far short of expectations and left the team out of the playoff picture, Durant is reportedly exploring options. And there are multiple teams interested. First, we've got the San Antonio Spurs. The idea of Durant mentoring and teaming up with Victor Wembanyama is mouth-watering. KD has always admired high IQ big men, and Wemby fits that mold perfectly. With the Spurs still sitting on a mountain of draft picks and young talent, they could pull off a trade package that doesn't gut their roster. The image of Durant playing under Coach Popovich, working alongside Wembanyama, would instantly make San Antonio must-watch TV. Then there's the Miami Heat. Always in the mix for stars, Miami has the culture, the coaching, and the willingness to make big swings. A trade involving Tyler Herro, draft picks, and a rising rookie like Kel'el Ware could make the numbers work. Durant fits Miami's mentality, and playing alongside Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo would create a devastating two-way team with elite clutch scoring. Houston is another name that won't go away. They have the assets, they have cap flexibility, and they're reportedly offering Jalen Green, picks, and other young pieces to make a deal happen. Pairing Durant with Fred VanVleet, Alperen Sengun, and Dillon Brooks would give the Rockets a real identity and move them from promising to playoff caliber overnight. And don't forget Minnesota or even Atlanta. There have been whispers about a Durant-Anthony Edwards pairing in the Twin Cities, or a KD-Trae Young duo in the East. Every option is equally shocking, equally bold, and equally possible. Durant has reportedly told the Suns that he's willing to explore destinations that make sense competitively and culturally. He's not just chasing rings anymore. He wants a final chapter that makes basketball sense and cements his legacy. The ripple effects of this trade would be massive. Wherever Durant goes becomes a contender. Whatever team trades for him instantly becomes a headline every single night. And for Phoenix, this marks the end of an era that was never fully realized. Rebuilding around Devin Booker and rethinking the roster would begin immediately. This is the kind of trade that dominates headlines for weeks, sends fan bases into a frenzy, and resets the championship race. That's why it earns the number 1 spot. It's not just the biggest trade that could happen, it's the biggest story in the NBA today. And there you have it, our top 3 shocking trades that could still happen this season.